Fáilte go na háisih, is me sé réanais, agus is sin Dh'ionnsaich t-òran luaidh an dú. Hello and welcome. I keep forgetting to use English in the song videos, which I should because I think there are probably people wanting to learn songs who don't understand the Gaelic and I'm only subtitling the actual lyrics. So welcome, I'm Rachel and we're going to learn a walking song today. Seo t-òran luaidh a dhéansaich mí ag an leabhair an Meall Bùirne, agus chaneal mí an t-òran seo an creidsinn an eadar-lìon ag sgioba an Bidh eile mar sin ha mí a creidsinn go bhfuil an Astràilianach I learnt this walking song in Melbourne and I haven't seen it or heard it online or in a book by anyone else, so I think it might be an Australian song, but I wouldn't say that with 100% certainty, but it makes sense if it is, based on the content. Ha t-òran ha a bhriain mí an céanna leis son Ghàidhealtachd, agus Séist sin ha t-òran ha a bhriain mí an bhanarach ha as de fudach an Meall Bùirne, agus is sin bhí sin a crodh an léill. So there are 5 or 6 verses which are basically just talking about homesickness, about how wonderful the Highlands are. And then there's 3 or 4 verses which literally just name people who are still living in Melbourne. I think a couple of them might unfortunately have passed, but most of them are still around. And then after that, well, that's when we start making up the verses. So yeah, just based on the content, it seemed like something that might have been written by people who had to come to Australia, perhaps not necessarily entirely by their own choice, and are homesick. And then, of course, there are verses which were clearly added in probably the 80s or 90s. So seo sé t-òran a héid. It's called t-òran, or in full t-òran sgàth, the land I love is the Highlands. We'll start with the chorus, which is fairly simple. Léill hu. Léill hu. And t-òran sgàth. t-òran sgàth. And that's it. Léill hu, t-òran sgàth, léill hu. So it's a walking song. And we've already translated the middle line, and the first and second lines are just vocables. So, Astràilianach, shall we sing? t-òran sgàth, t-òran Sin round a hen. Feadh and Bidh and crodh sna laoigh. Feadh and Bidh and crodh sna laoigh. Feadh gleann eadar-lìon. Feadh gleann eadar-lìon. Syntáiseach gen rhyme scheme. Hi cash me hollish and round shot. It's a bit unclear in this verse. Obviously, àirighean matches with Ghàidhealtachd in the chorus, and there's also an internal rhyme scheme in other verses, but in this one it's less clear. So we have laoigh, which should be matching gleann, and it isn't, so that's what it is. Agus Jaina ha seo Ghàidhealtachd, what does it mean? So it's not a full sentence, it's continuing on from the chorus. So sgioba rùin-s the land I love is the Highlands. Feadh, where as a connecting word. Feadh and Bidh and crodh. What's the crodh? Yeah, lots of boar. So the cattle, I guess, the laoigh, in the plural of laoigh, which is a baby boar. Highland cow, one presumes. Fheadhainn gleann. You should all recognise the word gleann, but across the glen, all through the glen. Eadar-lìon. And I'm not actually sure what the word for this is in English, but it's where you put the cows in summer. Dh'ionnsaich. Fheadhainn Bidh and crodh na luaidh, fheadhainn gleann eadar-lìon, leabhair Séist rùin-s ghaidhealtachd, leabhair Fheadhainn Bidh and crodh na luaidh, fheadhainn gleann eadar-lìon. Fheadhainn Bidh and crodh na luaidh, fheadhainn gleann eadar-lìon. Bhanarach. Bidh a bhanarach dul fòdhpa. Peile mór gach leabhair. Bidh a bhanarach dul fòdhpa. Peile mór gach leabhair. And here we can see fòdhpa going to mór, and of course leabhair going to Ghàidhealtachd. So the milkmaid goes underneath them, as is the cows, with a big pail in each hand. Agus roimh t-òran and eile. I'll do two verses together. So Yevu palchas all. Yevu palchas all. Sgàth crodh no fheadhainn eile. Sgàth crodh no fheadhainn eile. Agus ríist all crodh fheadhainn. Agus yo sin will get, and palchas is abundance. So you get an abundance of it to drink. We've not explicitly mentioned milk, but it's the logical conclusion. We've been talking about cows and milkmaids. And chafayu grot no fheadhainn eile. Because this is in ye olde day times, when we had ye olde day money, such as groats and farthings. So you get all this milk from all these cows, and you don't have to pay for it. Now, anyone who's sung Ghàidhealtachd and a feadh knows that other people who were coming to Australia from the Highlands had slightly different ideas about how wonderful the Highlands were. So take this with a pinch of nostalgic salt, I suppose. Astràilianach, shall we sing? Bidh a bhanarach no fòdhpa, peile mór gach leabhair, leabhair Séist rùin-s ghaidhealtachd, leabhair Yevu palchas diolch, chafayu crodh no fheadhainn eile, leabhair Séist rùin-s ghaidhealtachd, leabhair Bhí bhanarach do fòdhpa peile móg a laoigh, léill in siad mar rùin-s a Ghàidhealtachd léill. Jevu paltjes jerios gevaar grot fheadhainn léill sgioba mar rùin-s a Ghàidhealtachd léill. Agus t-òran eile, 2 more verses, which brings us to the end of what I think of as the traditional verses. We won't talk about all the gossipy verses about people who are still alive in Melbourne. So 2 more. Jevu bhreatain, jevu feadh. Jevu bhreatain, jevu feadh. Jevu iasc, go dtealra saon. Jevu iasc, go dtealra saon. Agus ríist, feadh, iasc, and agus, I suppose, is going to Ghàidhealtachd. So, jevu bhreatain. What will you get? I'm going to say salmon. I'm terrible with fish names. Bhreatain. Salmon, I was right. As jevu feadh, je sin, deer. As jevu iasc, because apparently bhreatain is not an iasc now. Go dtealras. Good dalagus is your heart's desire, so you will get your heart's desire worth of fish and 1 deer. As jevu t-òran, crodh as t-òran. Jevu t-òran, crodh as t-òran. Isog àirighean bhanarach Isog àirighean bhanarach. So what are you getting in this verse? Aaron, sin agave, bread. Crodh, sin oats. There was I do believe the first English dictionary described oats as a grain which is fed to horses, but which in Scotland feeds the people. Important word for you to know if you're new to Gaelic. Crodh, Aaron crodh, oatcakes. Leabhair, porridge. Brochan, watery porridge. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. Jevu t-òran, bread, crodh, oats, and t-òran, which you might have heard Dh'ionnsaich saying as an expletive. What they mean is àirighean, and t-òran is barley. I don't think Dh'ionnsaich worship barley. Could be wrong. So you'll get bread, oats and barley. Sgàth marach. In my youth, I was raised on it. Bread, oats and barley. Oh, sin. Dh'ionnsaich. Oh no, agus reached t-òran, óg, and àirigh had sin adul Ghàidhealtachd. Jevu bhreatain, jevu feadh, jevu iasc, go dtealra saon léill. Sin siad mar rùin-s a Ghàidhealtachd léill. Jevu t-òran, crodh as t-òran, sgàth marach léill. Sin siad mar rùin-s a Ghàidhealtachd léill. Jevu bratten, jevu feadh, jevu escodalga sound and fallen, or a hoosh a chit maroon sa hail talk, a fallen, or a hoosh. Jevu waren korkes jorna sogrenjak mara kere fallen, or a hoosh a chit maroon sa hail talk, a fallen, or a hoosh. Agus Nietzsche, Shania Machinor and Fat, we'll sing, well, we won't sing the whole song, we'll sing these 5 verses. Again, you don't have to add the verses about the people in Melbourne, but feel free to add verses on whatever you want. You know the rhyme scheme? If you're singing it ad-libbed, you probably won't be able to keep with the rhyme scheme, but try to hit the R in the end of the second line. If you have more time, write your own verses. I usually end up talking about the weather because I'm very bad at ad-libbing. You could talk about Gaelic immigration to Mars. You won't be the first to write a walking song about Gaelic immigration to Mars, but it's still a fun topic. So we'll sing the whole thing so far, and do remember, it's a walking song. When you're coming to the end, sing the verse sing the chorus 1.5 times after the last verse. So. Fallen or a hoosh a chit maroon sa hail talk, fallen or a hoosh. Far be an crodh sa luaidh, feadh an gleann àirighean, fallen or a hoosh a chit maroon sa hail talk, fallen or a hoosh. Bidh a bhanarach fòdhpa peile mógach laoigh, fallen or a hoosh a chit maroon sa hail talk, fallen or a hoosh. Jevu bantjes jerio's gevaaiu grapnjo fartje fallen, or a hoosh a chit maroon sa hail talk, fallen or a hoosh. Jevu brattens, jevu feadh, jevu escodalga sound and fallen, or a hoosh a chit maroon sa hail talk, fallen or a hoosh. Jevu waren korkes jorna sogrenjak mara kere fallen, or a hoosh a chit maroon sa hail talk, fallen or a hoosh a chit maroon sa hail talk, fallen or a hoosh. Nach cafe.